Have you ever caught yourself unlocking your phone and forgetting why? Do you feel restless when it's quiet or anxious when your phone isn't nearby? And here's a harder one. When was the last time you truly sat in stillness without needing to reach for something? If those questions hit a little too close, keep listening, because this might explain why your attention feels broken, why you're always distracted, and why you can't stop scrolling, even when part of you really wants to. Let me take you somewhere familiar. Picture this. You're sitting in a cafe. Your coffee's getting cold, you're alone. And in those first few silent seconds, you reach for your phone. Why? Not because something urgent came up, not because you're waiting for a message. Just because it's there. You open an app, scroll a reel, maybe 2, maybe 20. 5 minutes pass, maybe 10. Now pause and ask yourself, what did I just get out of that? Did I learn something? Did I feel more connected? Did it make me happy? Or was it just something to do? That's where the story begins. Not your story on paper, but your brain story. Because every time you do that, every time you swipe, tap, scroll, your brain is quietly lighting up. Tiny chemical pulses of dopamine. Not metaphorical, literal. And here's what most people don't realize. Dopamine isn't about pleasure, it's about pursuit. It's what drives you to keep seeking, hoping, checking, even when you don't know what for. It's why a little red notification bubble feels exciting. Why one unread message feels like a mystery. Why reels feel impossible to stop watching. But let me ask you something. Who taught your brain to crave that? You weren't born like this. You didn't pop out of the womb checking your phone. This was learned. So now the real question is, who trained you? The answer? Everyone and everything behind your screen. Designers, developers, platforms, algorithms. They studied your brain better than you ever have. They figured out what makes you click, what makes you curious, what makes you stay. Every color, every sound, every infinite scroll feed. It's not accidental, it's intentional. Engineered for one thing, to capture your attention and never give it back. And the cost? Let's talk about it. Because this isn't just digital distraction anymore. This is cognitive rewiring. The longer you stay on short-form content, the more your brain begins to shift. The prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for focus, planning, and decision-making, starts to dim. Your memory center weakens. Your impulsive system gets stronger. You become more reactive, less thoughtful. Your ability to stay present fades, and the worst part, you don't even notice it happening because it feels normal. Everyone's doing it, right? But normal doesn't mean healthy. Think about this. When was the last time you finished a full book? Had a conversation without checking your phone? Went to bed without scrolling yourself into numbness? We're more connected than ever, and yet more alone. We're constantly stimulated, and yet constantly bored. Why? Because the brain is overstimulated, undernourished, and always hungry for more. We've replaced deep focus with dopamine loops. We used to earn our dopamine by finishing tasks, solving problems, building real connections. Now, we just swipe. Effortless reward, no cost up front. But trust me, there is a cost, and that cost is your mental health. Let's talk symptoms. Ever feel foggy, struggle to focus, lose track of time, feel like your memory is getting worse? That's not just life, that's overstimulation. When the brain is flooded with cheap, easy dopamine, it begins to dull its sensitivity. Like an addict needing more just to feel okay. So you scroll, not to feel good, but to not feel bad. You check your phone, not out of curiosity, but out of compulsion. And slowly, the silence becomes scary. Stillness becomes uncomfortable. And focus becomes foreign. You're not just distracted, you're disoriented. But here's where it gets real. It's not just your mind paying the price. It's your body. Let's break it down. Constant screen exposure affects your sleep. Blue light kills your melatonin. You stay up later, you wake up groggy, and your sleep quality plummets. Your eyes, digital eye strain, dryness, blurred vision, headaches, your posture. Text to neck is real. Your spine is folding, your head is hanging, and that chronic tension in your neck. And it's not just stress, it's structure. Your hands, repetitive strain, thumb pain, tingling, early arthritis signs in people under 30. Your heart, elevated cortisol, higher blood pressure, lower heart rate variability. Your nervous system, always in alert mode, always waiting, always stressed. And we haven't even talked about anxiety yet. Because when you live in a world of constant input, silence feels like failure. So the moment you pause, your brain panics. You check for messages. You refresh your feed. You look for a distraction. You're not chasing pleasure anymore. You're running from pain. And maybe you don't even know what that pain is. Because every time it shows up, you swipe it away. Now let me ask again. When was the last time you truly felt present? Not entertained, not distracted, present, with your thoughts, your body, the moment you're in. Most people don't even remember, because presence has become a forgotten skill. But here's the truth, no one tells you. You are not broken. You are not lazy. You are not addicted because you're weak. You're addicted because the system is designed that way. Every app you use is optimized to keep you from leaving. That's not a conspiracy. That's a business model. If your attention is the product, then distraction is the profit. And your healing? That's not profitable, but it is possible. Because the same brain that was rewired can be rewired again. It starts with a decision, not a massive detox, not deleting everything, but a single moment of awareness. Ask yourself, what am I looking for? When I reach for my phone, is it connection? Is it escape? Is it boredom? Or is it something deeper? You might not know right away, but that question, it matters more than you think. Because every time you pause, you take back a bit of control. And if you want to begin rewiring your brain, here's how. Start small, 10 minutes a day. No phone, no noise. Just you and your thoughts. Go for a walk. Without music, without distraction. Just observe. Read a book, not for content, for clarity. Write, not to post, but to process. Eat one meal screen-free, sit in stillness. These aren't productivity hacks, they're recovery rituals. They remind your brain, you're safe in silence. You're allowed to feel. You don't have to run. And slowly you'll notice something incredible. You'll start to feel clear again. Focus will feel easier. Your memory will improve. And most importantly, you'll remember what it feels like to be you, without the noise. And yes, your brain will resist. You'll feel the itch, the boredom, the pull. But now you'll know what it is. It's not need, it's conditioning. And the only way to break it is to feel it without feeding it. This isn't easy, but it's worth it. Because your life is not a feed. Your identity is not a profile. And your worth has never been based on how many people saw your story. The real story? It's happening now. And it needs you fully present to be written. So the next time you unlock your phone for no reason, pause. Ask yourself, do I want to scroll through life? Or do I want to live it? Because this moment, this one right here, it's real, it's yours, and it's worth showing up for.